Penny, daar is jou sonskynmate. Net soos jy daar is, vertel ons hoe jy lekker leer. Show us, teach us, bring it all together. Penny, our friend here at PNA.
PNA. Penny is altyd hard aan die werk. PNA.
Hello and welcome to Show Me How. Paper making is an ancient art going back to the time of the Egyptians, but it's been perfected and is still commonly used today. Whether it's used for making books and journals or for decorative purposes, handmade papers range from rustic textured sheets to fine and delicate works of art. Melanie, thank you so much for joining me. And how did you get involved with papers?
Well, I first started studying wedding planning.
Oh, really?
So I've started off like doing invitation cards and programs, anything to do with paper.
Yes.
So the business I'm into now, the company I'm working for now, has a variety of papers that I can use to make my own designs.
Oh wow, so you can actually incorporate your passion into your job.
Yes, yeah, so my passion, it became my job.
Okay. Good. And then, so these are the basic materials. I have to ask you, what about the toothbrush? I see you've brought this along and I'm struggling to see the connection.
The toothbrush is just there to actually put the glue on more steadier than just using the actual bottle. Because you just need a thin layer of glue on your cardboard, not a thick layer when you pasting your paper down.
So if you prefer to keep your toothbrush for your teeth, then you could use a paintbrush or something else like that.
Whichever is easier for you.
Perfect. Shall we get started?
Yes.
Excellent. Show me how you would do this.
Well, first you're going to need your size of the frames that you want. So you can do it any size that you want.
Yes.
Okay, then you...
and this is your cardboard?
This is the cardboard. It's about a 1.7 thickness.
Okay.
That's best for the frame.
Okay.
Okay, then you're going to have to cut your actual inside of the frame out like this. So you can leave about a spacing of 3 to 4 centimeters of the inside.
So this is going to be ultimately covered with paper, but it will allow the light to shine through, where obviously this board is, there's no way that it's see-through. Okay, I understand that.
Okay, then next we're going to you have to measure your paper for the frame, but you also have to leave like a 2 centimeter spacing all around for it to bend over, fold over.
Okay. Melanie, paper doesn't really look very see-through to me. Are you sure the light will shine through this?
Yes, because it's not a very dark red. So
okay, and I suppose it's not a sort of a solid texture either, so you're going to get a bit of variation of lighting. Yeah. Okay, you were telling us that we're going to need to stick this on, am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, you're going to leave your 2 centimeter spacing all around.
Okay.
Then you're going to take your frame, and then that's where the toothbrush is coming in.
Okay, you know, I get the toothbrush. It's sturdy.
Yeah.
And often when you're working with thick glue, the paintbrush is just too flimsy.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all you need to do is you have to go from the inside out to get all your corners.
Okay.
Because this is very important. When a brush not always gets your corners as well.
I just want to show it to the camera because the viewers can't really see. Just show us how you did that technique again.
Okay, so you just go from the inside to the outside with the brush.
Right.
This is what's nice because you can use the side of the
bristles.
toothbrush.
Yes,
yeah.
excellent.
So just go like that. And then you go for the whole frame, you'll do like that. Just
to make sure that your paper sticks properly.
Yes.
Now tell me something, what kind of glue is this?
This is just a plain normal craft glue.
Okay. Yeah. Now with the heat from the lamp, is this not going to all come undone or discolor? Nothing like that?
Because the lamp is going to be in the middle of the lampshade.
Yes.
So it won't take it apart.
Okay, fantastic. So we go right around and we make sure that we've got enough glue that our paper doesn't start peeling off again.
So you just go all around. I'm just going to finish this one.
Okay. And does this glue dry completely clear?
It does, yeah. So if you mess a little bit on your actual paper, so it will dry clear.
That's such an advantage because I'm afraid as I start getting enthusiastic, I start getting a little bit messy. So the chances of me getting glue on paper are very, very real.
Okay, then we're going to take your piece of paper. And then you're just going to paste it right in the middle of it.
Okay, face down. That's the easiest
face
way.
down. Yeah, it's the easiest way, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you're going to need to do the same, to stick this paper on the outside.
There as well, yeah. So you're just going to stick it all around. You're going to stick your actual frame onto the paper. Then you have to cut your actual corners off as well.
Okay.
Let me just show you that. You have to cut it from like a square side.
Okay.
All the way
it's like covering school books all over again.
Yes, yeah. You just have to leave that little space there
to
for it to actually cover
the
it.
edge.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you don't see the actual cardboard.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, let's do that one.
Well, let's see how we go from here.
Yeah, so then you're also going to put some glue on the actual paper.
Yes.
Then you're going to just fold it and also just paste it, which is very nice if you take a roll-on bottle,
Yes.
just an empty one, and just actually smudge it on here for
Okay,
it to actually
perfect.
stick.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. And I suppose you could also use a heavy book or something
Yes.
overnight. How long does it take to dry?
Oh, about 10 or 15 minutes,
Oh,
because
that's
you just
quick.
put it on very thin.
Lovely.
The thinner you put it on, the quicker it dries.
Okay, perfect.
So now you've pasted all 4 your corners.
Yes.
Or all 4 the sides down. So now you need to make some marks for where you want your holes to be.
Okay, so this is the inside, and it's going to look like that on the outside.
Yes.
Okay, and the holes that you're talking about are basically to thread our ribbon through.
Yes, to
actually
keep it together. Yeah.
Okay.
You
I
can
see
see.
you've marked them already.
Yeah.
Can I take this off?
Yes.
Is this here by accident?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. There's about plus minus 17 holes on each side, which would be
But
perfect.
it's not an exact science,
Yeah,
is it?
so, yeah.
Okay. And
Okay.
what would you punch your holes with?
You can just use a heavy duty puncher, not a normal home puncher. It has to be a heavy duty one,
Okay.
because the cardboard is very
It's
thick.
very thick. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are also available in the craft stores, are they?
Yeah, they should be. In, there's other places also. All the craft shops.
Okay. Lovely. Show me how we go from here.
Okay, so now you're going to take your parts that have the holes in it.
Yes.
Now we have to bring it all together.
Now, it's obviously very important to have the same number of holes on both sides.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're going to have a problem when you're threading through.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be all skew.
Yes. Okay. So it's although it's not an exact science, obviously you've got to match them all up.
Yes, they have to match. Yeah.
So you'd make 4 sides and then thread through the 4 sides. Do you need any ribbon? You said something about quite a thin ribbon?
Yeah, you can use, because the holes isn't that big. If you use a
Okay.
thicker ribbon like this, you know, it's gonna fold like that.
Yes, yes,
Over
yes,
to
yes.
it. So it's not gonna look as nice as that, steady and smooth.
That's true. That is
so it's
nice
always,
and neat.
Yeah, so it's always better to rather use a thin one.
Okay.
Okay. So now how you thread it is you put your 2 sides together. You must always take it from the inside out.
It's like threading your shoelaces through your
Yeah,
tacky.
it's almost like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the same. So you just from the outside into you.
So you starting from, it doesn't matter if it's the bottom or the top, or does it?
No, it doesn't matter.
I suppose.
Because now you can, for the top, you can either use a different ribbon like I did there,
Yes.
or you can just take a different part here and just make it a little bit longer for
Okay.
it to hang.
I see. Okay, let me just hold this up to the camera. Okay, so if we left the length here, we would have the same length on all 4 corners.
Yes.
And then that would come together and that would create our hanging piece.
Yeah, so you can do it either way, because sometimes it's very nice to use different colors of ribbons.
That's true,
So
as
you
a
can use the
contrast.
top for a different color.
Lovely. And if you left bits hanging at the bottom, then you could hang your embellishments off the
Yes,
bottom.
yeah.
Okay, just show us how we're going to thread this through. But I think it's fairly simple. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty much
So then
like
you just, it's like zigzag. So
Yes.
just from underneath, through again,
yes.
and then again this side,
Mm-hmm.
underneath that one. So like that. And then you will go all the way through down.
Okay.
Steady it a bit.
Let me just show the camera. If you just tighten these ribbons for me, so we get a pretty good idea of how it's going to look. And it needs to be quite tight, because you don't really want the light shining through your seams.
Yes,
You want the
no.
light shining through your paper.
Yeah, so you can
Okay.
get that nice color of the actual paper
yes.
shining
And,
through.
and you know what I love? I think this kind of lampshade will create a very subdued ambiance in a room, so not
It
the
will.
sort of bright light that's
Yeah.
shining in your eyes. Okay, so we would carry on threading all the way through,
the
and
way
we would
through,
do the
yeah.
same on all 4 sides.
Yes, and then leaving that little piece of ribbon at the bottom, you just knot it.
Okay.
And then afterwards you can put all your embellishments on.
Show me on this one how you did that.
Okay, so now on this one is we actually tied the actual ribbon.
Okay.
So we just took the 2 ends of the ribbon
Yes.
and just put this through
The
with
tassel.
the tassel through
Yes.
with the bead, and just tied it with the ribbon. And that's all
Okay.
you do. So you can either, when you tie your ribbon here, it's fine, and then you can use the 2 ends. So you mustn't tie it here at the bottom. You have to tie it here against your board.
Okay.
Okay, and then afterwards you can put your accessories in of the 2 ones that's hanging loose.
All right. Now going back to the top here, what have you done about the hanging? What are you going to use here?
Well, on this one we used a different color ribbon.
I see. Okay, you just.
So we're just going to take all 4 together.
Okay.
All 4 corners.
And then, now you've got your lamp hanging from the ceiling, and how are you going to secure this around the lamp?
Well, you can just either pin it, just
Yes.
spin it on your, if you've got a ceiling, just spin it in the ceiling.
Okay.
Or if you're a handyman, just take the lights out and just actually push the ribbon all around it in it, and then just
Okay.
close the
Lovely.
light, and it should be fine.
All right. So this ribbon you added right at the end. You just threaded it
Yes.
through and brought
Just
all the
threaded
pieces up, and this would tie then beautifully around there. Melanie, how do I create something as beautiful as this?
Well, for this, you're also going to need your plain Esca board and a very nice paper, because it's for a scrapbooking frame, or you can make any other frame sizes. So you need a very nice and elegant paper, I would prefer.
You know,
for
this doesn't look like paper. It looks like velvet. Is it fabric?
No, it's actually paper. It just have a velvet finish on it,
Is
but it's
that
actually
so?
paper.
You were telling me earlier as well that you get like a leather finish and all sorts of finishes in
Yes.
handmade papers.
Yeah, you do, and then you get all your glitter ones. That's totally filled with glitter, not just
Amazing.
here and there. So yeah, you get all different types.
Very nice. You know, I've often walked past and seen all the papers, but I haven't known what to do with them. So this gives me lots of ideas.
Yes, it
How do we
does,
get
yeah.
started?
Okay, well with this, you also need your frame in any size that you want. So you
Okay.
can make it big, you can make it small, or even bigger than this. So
Okay.
it depends on what you want to do with it.
You mentioned to me something about scrapbooking. So I think you've cut this one to fit the size of a scrapbook page.
Yes.
So the idea often is that scrapbook pages go into albums, but you're suggesting that we do a scrapbook and actually hang it up on
In
a
an actual
wall.
frame, yes.
Nice idea. Right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to cut out your frame. For your scrapbooking frame, the frame have to be bigger than your actual scrapbooking page, about
Sure.
plus minus 10 centimeters bigger
Okay.
than that.
Okay.
Okay, then you're going to cut your paper for your
Right.
frame. That's also, you must also leave 2 centimeters on each corner for it
For
to
the
actually
fold.
fold it. Yeah.
Okay.
Then again, you're going to use your toothbrush.
Yes. Not to brush our teeth, we know that.
Then you can also glue it from the
The center out.
center out. Yeah.
Let me
Just
do
glue
that
it
one.
like
I'm
so.
dying to get my hands dirty, to get stuck into this. So basically you said to me that this is ordinary craft glue.
Yes, just ordinary craft glue.
I know that you have a very specific way of applying the glue. You like to apply it from the inside out. But does it really matter if I apply it differently?
No, it doesn't. You can do it whatever makes you feel comfortable doing the glue, so that's
Okay.
fine.
So, and what about those sponge brushes instead of an actual toothbrush?
You can use that as well.
Is it sturdy enough?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
You can
And
even just use a normal craft paper, a thin paper, and just smear it on
Oh,
like
that's a good
that. So
idea.
that's also
a piece of board, a piece of plastic,
Yeah.
anything. You know, that's the amazing thing with crafts, is that you don't have to have specific tools.
Yes.
Often the tools make it a lot easier,
Yeah.
but it's not essential.
Yeah, so you have to use whatever fits you, what
True.
makes it easy for you to
Okay,
make it.
I'm not going to go right around because I think you've got one that's pre-prepared for me. But now I would actually turn it this way, am I
Yes.
right?
And then just stick it right in the center of it.
Now, before I do that, I just want to show this paper. It looks like ordinary paper on the back, but this is the actual velvety
Velvet.
texture on the other side. Such a nice surprise, because this is quite boring, I must admit. Okay, so we try and center it, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Secure it properly. Would you need to weigh it down so that it stays stuck?
What you actually do is you just turn it around
Yes.
where you did your glue, and then this is where the roll-on bottle comes in.
Oh,
Then you
yes.
just use it and smear it like that.
Okay.
Then it makes it very smooth as well.
And you know
all
what
the
it's-
bubbles comes out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I can see all the bubbles coming out. This is very clever. So anything with weight and anything that's smooth and doesn't have jagged edges.
Yes.
With this paper, the velvety paper, can we damage the pile of the paper if we rub too hard?
Yes, you can, depending on what you use. If you use something soft, it's fine, but if you use something that's rough, it's going to damage the velvet.
So we need to be careful of
Yes.
that. Okay, I've got glue on the table, but that's my usual thing. And then where would we go from here?
Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to actually have to cut your corners out like we did this one.
Yes.
Okay, the corners just again from this side out like that.
Okay, let me do that. So it's again like wrapping our school books?
Yes.
Covering our school books, should I say. So we're just creating a nice neat edge to fold over. And you said to me not too close to the corner so that the corner gets covered.
Yes, otherwise you're going to see the escabord after you finish your product.
That will be such a pity.
Yeah.
And then we put glue on the side again.
Yes, you put glue on your actual paper, then you fold it over again, and then again use your bottle and just smear it on.
Fantastic.
Then again you're going to use your the inside as well. Then you're going to cut the inside from your inside middle to your actual corner, but not cutting it right through the edge again.
Again, to accommodate the fold.
Yes.
All right. So once we've cut that, we fold it back.
With this one, you're going to have to cut a piece off, about halfway off.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if you fold it, it's going to fold over like
Of
that.
course,
So you're going to have to cut an actual piece off.
But again, we don't have to have exact measurements, do we?
No, you don't need. If you cut it too small, that's fine. As long as you can just turn it over.
Yes. Okay. Right, and we would do that on all four sides.
On all four sides, yeah.
So Melanie, we've finished with all our cutting. Now we need to stick down the paper once more, and then we're going to achieve this, am I right?
Yes, and that's your frame.
Okay, now when you say this is my frame, there is no ways that this is sturdy enough, or what about my backing?
That we're going to do now for the backing.
Okay. Okay, now I feel happier.
Then it will be more steadier.
Yes. All right. So what would we do next?
For the backing, you'll do exactly the same as the frame, getting the size of the frame, just without the spacing here in the middle.
In between.
So it's exactly the same.
So it's a solid piece that's going to go in here. And then are we going to leave an opening anywhere to put in our photographs? Or
You can, depending on how you're going to do it, you can leave one opening open, or you can close all four of it and then do your decorations afterwards.
Directly onto the
paper,
frame.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good way of doing it. All right, show me the next step, please.
Okay, now this would be your backing for the frame, and then your paper is the size as well, the same as you did the frame, leaving your 2 centimeter spacing. You'll do your pasting exactly the same and your cutting. So on the end it will look like this after you've done all your pasting and cutting of your actual base.
So same principle. Again, we cut the corners, we just finish it off, and this will go behind that over there.
This one, you're going to use this one because this one has still an open space. You're going to actually have to cut a different piece of paper.
Okay, so we want to cover it both sides. You want to have a really perfect frame. All right.
Which is nice about this one is you don't necessarily need to use the same color of your actual frame. You can use a different color paper to paste in.
Well, I see that you've done something like that over here. So you've gone with the blue on the outside of the frame, but on the inside you've gone with the contrasting color.
Yes.
And you could actually use any other paper. You wouldn't even have to go for the velvety finish.
No, you can use any other paper.
You know what fascinates me is that if I've made a scrapbooking page in a paper that is going to complement the blue of the frame, by leaving one side open, I'll just be able to slip that
Slide it in, yeah.
Or I would put it into place before finalizing the frame. Am I right?
Yes, you can do that as well.
Okay. So this would be the background now, which would either be in the purple or the blue or any other color. Now, how would I stick these two together?
Okay, now with this, you'll do the same as you did with pasting your actual paper. Then you just take your toothbrush and your glue and just glue it on your actual frame. But on your frame, you only need to do it here on the piece, not the whole frame.
Okay, okay. And then once we've put that here, how are we going to hang this up on our wall?
With this one, you can just put a little hook on the back.
Okay.
Anything, like a normal frame, you can buy the hook separate from a craft shop should have it.
Yes.
You just pin it on there and you can hang it. Put a little string on.
Excellent idea. What about embellishing the frame? I see that you've gone with a little bit of ribbon and some paper roses and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So we could use anything again.
Yes, and you can, what's nice about it, you can use your actual paper to make your embellishments. Like your flowers and like these things we did there. You can just use your actual paper and you can write out a name on that.
That's lovely. So all of these are handmade papers?
Yes.
It's amazing. The variety is really, really amazing. I love this butterfly that you have here.
That's also one of the handmade papers.
Okay. And then how did you achieve this sort of rough effect on the edges?
With this one, you just actually take your butterfly, just draw it with a pencil on the paper itself and just tear it. Just tear it off.
It's amazing.
And it will get like that.
I've also seen people taking a little bit of water on their fingers and like feathering the edges to get this lovely rough edge.
Yes, you can do that as well.
I love the paper. You know, it's amazing, the textures, and I see you've got some beads as well, some acrylic beads, I think.
Yes.
So we could use glass. Might be a little bit too heavy for this frame, wouldn't it?
It might, yeah. It's rather to use the other ones, and you can also let it hang. You can also put holes in the bottom of your frame,
punch
and then
them out.
actually hang the beads from it.
That's a good idea. So I suppose depending on the decor of your room, if you're doing it for a little girl, you're going to use appropriate kind of embellishments, and if you're doing it for an adult's room, you're going to do something that is
and
more
then the
suitable
paper
there.
also. There's also paper that's nice for children, but not nice for adults.
Yes.
You have to choose.
The variety is amazing, and I think, you know, the opportunities and the possibilities are endless, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Milani.
Show Me How was proudly coloured by PNA, suppliers of stationery, books, arts and crafts. PNA, colour your world. Products available in-store at PNA. Visit www.pna.co.za for further information.